Good morning, gang. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Depending on where you are in the world, welcome back to this week's altcoin update. First and foremost, remember nothing discussed today is financial advice. It's just for educational purposes only. And now that's out of the way, let's jump in some altcoin, shall we? So, as you guys know, every Monday we put out a request on our Twitter. And this week we got requested for VANRY, TRIAS and ARC. So they're the three altcoins that we're going to take a look at today. We'll look at some potential setups and obviously the overall trend on all three of them. Before we get into that, big shout out to our video sponsor, Prime XBT. Prime are one of our exchange partners, one of our preferred exchange partners. If you don't know who they are a non-KYC exchange. And not only can you trade crypto, but you can also trade FX, stocks, and commodities. And if you use our link down in the description, you can get up to a $7,000 deposit bonus. Okay. So once again, big shout out to Prime XBT. Now, moving on. VANRY, let's begin. Okay. So let's throw this on the log so we can see this a little bit clearer. So first and foremost, let's just see where all the volume is. There you go. Like expected. All the volume is down at the bottom. Obviously, this is where a lot of the accumulation happened before, obviously, the big push up to where we are right now. Now, we can also throw in a separate one as well and just look at this. For me, the impulse realistically starts from this zone here. So we've got two volume profiles here, one covering the bottom, which effectively is the accumulation, and the other one covering the trend from this low down here, roughly around the start of Feb. Okay, so we can see where we are right now. Now, we do have a bit of a meme triangle going on. You know, everyone loves this kind of crap. You know, this is the sort of stuff that people get away with in a bull market. This is why, you know, your average CT influencer looks like absolute genius in an up-only market, because they can draw simple bullshit patterns like this, and you come out of this pattern and then you're pumping and it's moon time. Yeah. The reality is you've got a bit of a range within this. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll zoom into a 4-hour time frame. Let's just drag that on so it fits in. And there we go. Right. So as we can see here, first and foremost, my eyes straight away are drawn to a bit of a sideways range going on. You've got your range lows right here. Drag that along, and then you get your range highs here. Okay. And then within this cluster, bear in mind, I'm looking on a 4-hour chart. I'm going to throw on another volume profile within this because I want to see where all the volume's sitting. Right. We can see here the value area high lines up nicely with the EQ of the channel. Value area low down here. And obviously, we're roughly retesting the point of control where we are right now. So initial thoughts based on local price action, quite simply, hold this point of control here, and we can start looking at coming up towards value area high and contesting these highs. Now, bear in mind, we do have a lot of equal highs up here. So what does that mean? Well, it means there's a lot of stop losses there. So if we do come up here, first and foremost, we've got to be very aware that this could trigger some stop losses. So if we do come up into this zone, peak above it, get back down below it, then there's the potential to continue playing the bottom side of the range. Okay, so that's first things first. Now, on the flip side of that, again, if you're shorting against something like this, you've got to be really smart about what you're doing. Okay, so for the average trader, especially if you're fairly new and, you know, you're a bit of a gambler and you just like to hold stuff and hope for the best, then, you know, shorts might not be a preference. Okay, but obviously if you do see something like that, then all you're doing then is you're looking for the next support region to place your next long. Okay. Now, if we can reclaim this EQ and get above this without a significant pullback and a liquidity grab, at that point, then I will then be looking for contesting highs. Okay. And obviously right up at the highs, just like any range that I would normally trade, you've got a couple of options up here. Either A, it peaks above, comes back down, and you just continue to trade this range, or B, peaks above, reclaims, and continues. Okay, that's what I'll be looking at locally. Now, what if it loses this range low? What if it loses this range low? There's a couple of areas that I'd be interested in. First and foremost, same as how we've got liquidity above these highs, you've also got liquidity below these lows, because obviously you've got 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, arguably 4 touch. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we've got stop losses below there. So anyone that's been longing within here, sat there, hoping for the best, thinking that the stops are safe. Okay? Now, they could be safe. I'm not saying they're not. What I'm saying is you've got to have a plan. You got to have a plan. So if we do start to lose this range, start coming back down into this liquidity, and then reclaiming the range, well, then there's a quite simple long trigger right there, because what you've done there is you've flushed out any local liquidity, which then gives you the fuel needed to push higher. And then from there, once again, you're just trading this range, and eventually this range will start to break, whether it breaks up or it breaks down. Now, for me, I wouldn't be long in this unless it reclaimed those range lows. So I'd like to see that play out and then get involved here. Now, a lot of people will see something like this and go, oh, Spitty said, if it comes down here and grabs that liquidity, I'll just long and they'll just continually long down there. No, that's not how I'd play this. I'd want to see the strengths. I'd want to see the grab, the strength, and then I'll get involved. And then you've got a clear invalidation, you've got a clear entry trigger, and then you've got a clear target. And that's how I'd play that. Now, obviously, if it starts coming down lower than that, then that's when we run into some potential issues. Because first and foremost, we've got a bit of a sticky zone here. We can see here in the volume profile. Not a major sticky zone, but if you do come down into that and it starts to give you something to work with, then great, cool. If it starts coming down lower than that, then this is not really good in terms of structure. Because the risk of this, if you start coming down below this, then you're also risking triggering stops that have been accumulating under here. So this could then fall into a bit of a cascade event. Okay, so if you do come down here and then start getting back specifically below this low here, then you can quite easily run down into this zone. Okay, and if you run down into this zone, then once again, do you start to see some strength? Great, cool, happy days, longs. If not, then we're back into this old accumulation range underneath value area high. And once again, you've got a high volume node on this consolidation. This could give you something to work with. And if not, then realistically, then you're looking back down at point of control. Now, once again, if you are new to the channel and you're watching this and you see me circled down here at this point of control saying, no chance, Spitty, it's not going down to 5 cents. No chance, it's up at 30 odd cents. I'm not saying it's coming down here. What I'm saying is, if it came down here, then I'd be interested in buying it. Likewise, if it came down into here and then back up, I'd be interested in buying it. Okay, that's all I'm doing. I'm making the plans. I'm looking on the chart where I want to do business if price comes there. That's all I'm doing. Okay, I'm interested in where I'm looking short. I'm interested in where I'm looking to long. And then once you've got your plans, then you wait patiently for price to come into those areas of interest. And then you make a decision whether you want to take a trade or not. Okay, it's as simple as that. But VANRY, it's fairly straightforward right now. Until we break out with this range, we're just going sideways. Simple as that. Next, TRIAS. TRIAS. I have no idea how you say this. But that's a common occurrence with me and most altcoins. Right, so once again with this, we can see here effectively how this has started. We've had a sideways accumulation range, and then we've had an impulse up, and then we're going sideways once again. Okay, fairly straightforward. So we can do exactly the same. We've got a local range low here. We've got a local range high. Let's drop this down to a 4 hour so we can see this a little bit better. Drag that along so it snaps on. There we go. Right, see this a little bit better now. So, range low, range high, deviation, EQ. Nice and simple. Drawing a volume profile within this range. Let's see what's going on. Give us some data. Okay, so all the volume is the top part of the range. Interesting to see. So, from here, okay, quite simple. I'd just be looking. I'd be interested in playing this range. Now, one thing that we've got to take into note with this range is we've spent the bulk of the time in the top section of this range. Okay, anytime we've come into the bottom section, it's been bought up quite quickly. Coming to the bottom section, it's been bought up quite quickly. So, if we are to continue this uptrend, bear in mind, overall trend is up. Okay, we're not in a downtrend, we're still in an uptrend. So, if we are to continue up from here, as we can see, we're popping up against that value area high, and we do continue up, then, once again, what happens at range high? Okay, because this is an established range high. Okay, it's hard to argue with that. It's an established range high. So if we do come back up here again, what happens at range high? Do we get a rejection? And then we continue playing the range, which wouldn't be a bad thing. Or do we peak above and take out stops and then get a rejection? Either option I'd be happy with. Now, the alternative option to that would be the bullish scenario. If it continues up, gets out of this, holds, and doesn't have a significant pullback, it's taken out these highs, then up only. Okay? And just continue playing trend. Now, what happens if this starts to roll down? Whether it rolls down from here or it comes up higher first, but if it starts to roll down, okay, I'd be looking then for range lows. Now, again, same idea again. At these range lows, you've got liquidity below these lows here. Okay, you've got a bit of resting liquidity below these lows here. You've also got a high volume cluster here. So if you did come back down to range lows, and then, once again, very similar to VANRY, take the liquidity into a potential sticky zone, which in its sense, this could be a trade by itself, or you either wait for that strength, wait for that range to reclaim, and then I'd be looking for a long trigger there. Now, the doom and gloom bear scenario, if this doesn't happen, and if this one doesn't hold down here, then realistically from that point, then I'm going to be looking back down here. Okay, and this, because you've got the point of control down here, and you've got a very high volume node here, for me, this would be a bit of a zone, and I'd want to see what happened within that zone. That's what I'd be looking for within there. So anything from, call it 410 for easy numbers, down to 371. Okay, for me, that would be a blessing. You got down here, started to show some strength, then you've got a very obvious long trigger, and then you'll be looking then to play that back up towards this range. If it starts getting acceptance back into this range, let it run further. Starts getting out of there, let it run further. Great, happy days. Okay, but for me, something like this would be a blessing. Now, once again, it's not something that I'd leave stink bids down here. A lot of people do that, okay? Now, anyone that leaves stink bids, you're more of a degenerate gambler in my eyes, okay? Because the thing that nobody knows, and I don't know what this project is, I don't know what it does, I don't know if it cures cancer, I have no idea. All I know is it's just another chart to trade. And what could happen is price could come down here, you set a load of stink bids down here, hoping for the best. And what happens? The whole project just rugs, and yeah, any money that you throw in here, hoping for the best, just destroyed. Okay, so that's why I like to wait. Okay, so what I do is I set alerts. So we'll get rid of all this crap. I set alerts. If price comes down to these levels, I then zoom in. Again, I'm looking on the 4 hour here. What does the 4 hour do? Does the 4 hour change to the upside? Zoom in. What does the 1 hour do? Does the 1 hour start breaking up to the upside? Market structure shift to the upside. Great, cool. In that case, I'll start getting involved. Okay, so that's all you're doing. So here, range lows, setting an alert. There you go. What happens if price comes back down to these range lows? Does it give me that little liquidity grab and that long trigger? If not, great, cool. I'll sit back, I'll wait. If it does, awesome. That's all you need to do. That's trading. That's trading. By the way, if you want to learn how to trade like this and how to find good zones, not just using the basic tools that I'm showing you here, but all the tools that we use, then head over to our website. Links down in the description below, spitfiretraders.com. Okay, click on the Join Now tab and you'll see it'll cost you the grand old price of 79 Great British Pounds, or loosely speaking 100 USD. Okay, you'll get access to all the educational content. All the educational content. There's so much stuff in here, it's unreal. In fact, we'll be doing another educational module tonight for the members. You can access to order flow, understand how to read order flow, how to trade altcoins by themselves. Okay, altcoin trading, strategies, psychology, Elliott wave theory, what to do when price comes into your area of interest. Okay, what are you looking for? What's your setup criteria? Where's your take profit going to be? Where's your invalidation? Where do you put your stop loss? Okay, how do you compound a trade? If you're in a swing trade, let's say you're already holding this from down here, price does come down here. Have you got an option to compound this trade? Have you taken profits? Can you compound it? Okay, and it's all about how to work all that stuff out and how to manage it through. Okay, so obviously if you want access to that, check out our website. Finally, ARC. Well, this is an up only chart, isn't it? So overall, initial thoughts. Well, your trend is still making higher highs and higher lows. Nothing unhealthy about that. next let's throw this on here. Okay, it's a little bit more spread out. Fine. There you go. And that's fine. Right, let's go back up to the daily on this, so we see this clearly. All right, okay. So you've just got range after range after range. So we've just broke out of a prior range, which will be this one here. And there's your prior range. Just drag that along. There you go. So your range high, range low, range low, range high. Front run, your range low, and then you've broken out to the upside. Okay, so from here, it's quite simple once again. Quite simple once again. Now, when you got the breakout initially, you did have the back test. So if this is to continue its bullish uptrend, realistically, you'd want to see this meandering up from where we are right now. Okay, if this comes back down to this and you are bullish, you better pray that that holds, because if that doesn't hold to give you a long trigger, then realistically we can start looking into this range. And if you do get acceptance back into this range, it's very simple. You just continue trading this range until one side breaks. But once again, if you are new to this channel, this is not the trade that I'll be taking. This is not the trade that I'll be taking. These are the trades that I would be looking for. Playing the range. This way, and this is the beauty, and this is where people go wrong with this. Bit of education. If we got acceptance back into here and we came down to range lows, again, you'd be grabbing liquidity here and you started getting a bounce at range lows. Great, cool. Well, there you've got your long trigger. Now, this is the beauty of understanding how to trade a range like this. So you've got your long trigger looking for this. And then let's say from here, price meanders up. So it hits a take profit, whether that's a take profit 1 or take profit 2, and then starts to reverse on you. Well, in that case, great, cool. Then you've got a short position. But you still maintain this long because you haven't fully closed it out. Okay, and this is the beauty of this. Then let's say price meanders down to here. Okay, stop loss. You've already had a take profit, so your stop loss is at entry. Great, cool. Does this then trigger this stop loss? Yep, no problem. Fine. So it stopped you out of this trade. Price doesn't get a bullish reaction here and starts to roll over. Cool, no worries. Well, in that case, you're letting that one run. Now, likewise, in the flip scenario of this, let's say you've taken a short here. Cool. You've had a take profit 1 on this. You stopped it to entry on your long. This starts meandering down, comes down here, and then starts moving back up from the EQ. Stops this one out, but then this one's still running. So either way, you are net positive. You are in profit because then you've got that winning trade. So whether it breaks up or it breaks down, regardless, you're in a really comfortable hedged position. This is why understanding a range is really useful in a trending environment. Everyone thinks that you're just trying to long a trend and you're just trying to get involved in a trend. But the beauty of being able to play both sides of the market and spotting these ranges nice and early means in this instance, you could have longed the bottom, shorted the top. Did you take profits EQ? Maybe, maybe not, no problem. But then this doesn't come back down to stop you out here. So therefore this one right now would be running. So now you are comfortably sat in profit. And if it does continue to run, happy days, great. You're good. It's the beauty of understanding how to find a range and how to trade a range. But the trick with this is finding them early before anyone else, because once everybody else can clearly see a range, it likely doesn't play as well. Okay, just trading psychology. Now, that's it. Hopefully you've learned something today. If you have, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. And until next time, gang, as you were. Bye-bye.